New on Curiosity Stream.
From time to time, we have collisions between asteroids and the Earth.
We track them, we study them, we hope the big one never comes. Don't look up, it's Asteroid Rush. And alligators. They rarely get sick. They even outlasted the dinosaurs. Could they hold the secret to human longevity?
Their blood could have antibacterial applications.
Wade into the investigation on immortal alligators. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Heart of a man, it's drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast an unidentified trio of drug thieves in Silver Spring, Florida. Now, in a nutshell, they broke into a home and they discovered 3 jars of cocaine, which conveniently added up to 1 jar of cocaine per burglar. Naturally, took the drugs, went home, and promptly got to snorting. And they discovered they were not snorting cocaine. Oh, no. Turns out they snorted the cremated remains of the homeowner's husband. Wow. And the cremated remains of the homeowner's dog. And the cremated remains of the homeowner's other dog. Each one was in an individual jar. Yeah.
Who thinks people are just sitting around with jars of cocaine?
You know who? Drug addicts, Ted.
Yeah.
And that was when I first read the story, I thought they legitimately found 3 jars of cocaine. And I thought, like, who keeps cocaine in a jar? Turns out nobody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's ashes.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of after parties. I've seen a lot of drugs. I don't think I've ever seen anybody pull out a jar of cocaine. Here you go.
So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve Thrill Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Christina. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hi.
Hola. All right, Christina, you understand how this here game is played?
I just caught the tail end of your spiel there, so yeah.
All right. Well, you have your choice of one of... thank you for my spiel. Your spiel. My spiel. I'm spieling somebody. You have your choice of one of 3 stories.
Got a huge spiel on that guy.
I got a real big spiel, Christina. The Wonderful World of Drugs. We also have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Okay, can you repeat that one more time for me?
The Wonderful World of Drugs, where you guess the drug that's involved. Bite Me, which is what did somebody find in their food. And finally, Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone's body.
Ooh, let's do the latter of the 3, the interior decorating.
Yeah.
I know what you like.
Yeah. All right, here is your story. A man needed something pulled out of his bladder after his masturbation act dramatically backfired. A 34-year-old from Indonesia, he shoved an object into his urethra, which ended up getting pushed too far and became stuck. He told surgeons who treated him that he shoved the object into his penis for sexual pleasure and gratification, and he confessed to using the masturbation technique up to 5 times a week. Now, the man, who was not identified, he went to his local hospital emergency room complaining of stomach pains when urinating. Medics described the object as being lodged in the bladder. So they gave him an x-ray to check how far into his body and how much damage it caused. It was visible and quickly identified. Now, the good news is the object had not attached to his bladder wall. If it had done that, they say it could have caused a hole, he'd need surgery, etc. Anyway, doctors pulled the object out using forceps. The man stayed in the hospital overnight to see if he needed any more treatment, but he was discharged the next day. No pun intended. But the question is, What did he insert into his urethra that ended up getting stuck in his bladder? Was it an earphone wire, a paper clip, a ballpoint pen, or a thermometer? So an earphone wire, paperclip, ballpoint pen, or a thermometer. One of those four things was inserted into his teeny tiny place.
Well, you've definitely probably hit the teeny tiny place. I'm going to go with thermometer.
Thermometer. Okay. All right, Christina. What was the first one? An ear what?
Earphone wire, like from your iPod or something like that.
Oh.
iPod. How old?
All right. I'm going to go ballpoint pen there, Ted.
Because of ballpoint.
And did you say, you said it went in the front, right?
Yeah, he put it into his urethra, and then it ended up getting lodged into his bladder.
Go with paperclip.
Paperclip it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All these are making me cringe.
We're going to find out why this guy was dumb. Was it an earphone wire, a paperclip, a ballpoint pen, or a thermometer? Next.
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Category is interior decorating on profile. This man had something removed from his bladder after shoving something up there for a little sexual pleasure. Went too far. He had done them before, but this time it just
does it 5 times a week.
Went all the way up there. It was removed. Question is, was it an earphone wire, a paper clip, a ballpoint pen, or a thermometer?
And Christina, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let us start with the Ted Smith.
Yeah.
Ted Smith went with the paperclip. But now we know what Ted's into.
Yep.
Miles Montgomery, you went with the ballpoint pen.
I'd pick.
You know what Miles is into.
My pick.
Christina, you went with the thermometer.
What? An earphone wire.
And now we know what you're into, too. You people are disgusting. No, he went with the good old-fashioned earphone wire. They said it was, hold on, let me get the length on this bad boy. 80 centimeters long. It's like 25 inches long. 25 inches long. And he put the whole thing up there. It started coiling up, and then basically.
Come on, man.
I mean, that reminds me of trying to get like the ties to your sweatshirt.
Right, trying to
out of the hood.
Man, I hate that.
It's awful.
Hate that.
I'd rather deal with that.
Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the men's room presents TV Time with Ted.
Volume's low, bro.
All right, your choices. You got Seth Meyers. The Jimmies.
Kimmel and Fallon.
Yes. Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there in the title. All these guys have teams of talented writers that help them come up with their monologues each and every night. And it's up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
There's a website called Illicit Encounters, and it says that 22% of unfaithful women own a cat. Not to be confused with the fact that 22% of women just own cats.
The Ted Smith. Yeah, I'll say it's you.
Damn it. Yeah, that is me. I had a couple different ones. They say, like, a certain percentage of women that own cats are, basically women are cheaters.
Sting.
Oh, it's kind of funny. Call men dogs, but you ever seen a bitch in heat? And I mean a female dog? We'll throw that thing around anywhere.
Ted teaches at a veterinary school.
I had a buddy say it to me once. We were sharing something, and then he looks at me and goes, I'm not usually this philosophical. I was like, nah, man, you were right on point, dog. Past that. A family in Massachusetts won $5 million from a lawsuit against a country club after their house was hit with over 600 golf balls. The family said when we moved directly next to a golf course, we had no idea this could happen.
Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon.
Yeah, it's Fallon.
Hey, get this. A family in Massachusetts won $5 million from a lawsuit against a country club after their property was hit with over 600 golf balls. Family was like, when we moved directly next to a golf course, we had no idea this could happen.
A woman in California recently survived being stranded in a car in the snow for nearly a week by eating one yogurt a day. And unfortunately for the rescue team, it was Activia.
Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers.
A woman in California recently survived being stranded inside her car in the snow for nearly a week by eating 1 yogurt per day. And unfortunately for the rescue team, it was Activia.
I still say just eat some Greek yogurt. You'll be farting in no time.
Isn't that a slogan?
I mean, right?
Oikos, you'll be farting in no time.
We're healthy because you farted out. People are all fired up about Elon Musk buying Twitter for $44 billion. First Tesla and now Twitter. It's amazing how much you can save when you don't have to pay for gas.
Fallon. Be Ted Smith.
Fallon.
Everybody is still talking about Elon Musk buying Twitter for $44 billion. Yep, first Tesla and now Twitter. It's amazing how much money you can save when you don't have to pay for gas, isn't it, dude?
Officials in New York are reportedly considering allowing pizzerias and other restaurants to sell cannabis-infused foods. Oh, they only come here if they're already high, said Papa John's.
Seth Meyers.
Officials in New York are reportedly considering allowing pizzerias and other restaurants to sell cannabis-infused foods. Oh, they only come here if they're already high, said Papa John's.
Right, so we talk about all the time, right, like different TV shows you'll watch where it's basically the same thing. Like, it's always easy as a dude to be like, how do women watch this show about a damn dress and this and that, right? Because they're just buying a wedding dress.
Yeah.
But they like it. So I've often talked about watching Deadliest Catch, and it's like some of the, like, there's new captains and this and that, but the main people are the main people, and it's basically, they're going to run into weather, right? It's going to be tough out there, and they hope to get on the crab. Right. But a lot of the show is just watching, and they get me every time. Right? I don't even know what season. They've got to be on like their 15th season or something, right? But you watch the crab pot coming up, you're like, God damn it! I'm just crabbing at this time. Right? Like, I don't want them getting skunked.
You know, out there fishing for that, the crab claw that you bought that was like $900 for.
It makes me feel better about paying that much for those crab legs.
For a pound, but apparently it's some of the roughest waters in the Bering Sea.
This is Norwegian. So it's not even in the Barents Sea.
The one I watched was where they were getting the red claws or the red.
They were getting, I think they were gold crabs or something.
Okay. I was talking about the color.
Because the red king crab, they couldn't fish it last year because there wasn't enough of the king crabs. Okay. So they said, "Hey, red crabs out." So that's why it was hard to get king crabs. But right, so I came in today and I was talking about it. Miles was like, "Hey, man, I actually watched some Deadliest Catch last night, but they were in Hawaii." And I was like, yeah. So like Josh Harris, right? His dad, Phil Harris, is one of the most famous like original captains on this show. Also,
he came on our show. He called.
Did Phil call it? Yeah. I know we had Sig in and Edgar in.
Yep.
Right, because I mean all those guys live around here. So this is like, and listen, like Miles, you've hung out with Josh. I have mutual friends with him, but like I went to CatchCon, and like.
CatchCon, like Deadliest Catch.
This was years ago, right? Okay. And they would have these. So, first of all, like, number one, I just like Deadliest Catch. It was a cool show. But then you live in this area, right? Like, I know a bunch of dudes live in Monroe or whatever. Like, you see the boats and everything. But when I went to CatchCon, and it was down on the waterfront, like, I kind of forgot about the worldwide appeal that, like, oh, yeah, this isn't just the States.
Right.
So, I mean, there was people, luckily it was in Seattle, so I just walked down.
They bring the Wicked Tuna people in? I mean, is it all the different shows?
See, Wicked Tuna, those guys annoy me.
But did they bring him to CatchCon?
This was years ago. So this predates Wicked Tuna even being a show.
Wicked Tuna.
Yeah, and Deadliest Catch is Discovery. Wicked Tuna is National Geographic.
What are the people from To Catch a Predator doing here? It's CatchCon, man. Everything. We catch it. We put it on display.
Dude, I'm not kidding. You go to Catch, and there was so many people, and like the other captains, and like everybody knows the big captains.
Sure.
So over the years, but when I was there, I was kind of blown away, like how much people that had traveled there, like they just want to meet the Harrises, right? So they love Josh, right? So they want to talk to him and stuff. So the new one is he's in Hawaii with his dad's old charts trying to fish down there.
Okay.
So here's my question. Now, Miles, you told me you ended up watching the same episode.
I did.
For some reason, I can watch them pull up crab pots not knowing. But just watching him reel in a fish, I'm like, nah. That's why
it sucks.
Like whenever I watch Wicked Tuna, I'm like,
tuna.
Yeah, I'm like,
just Pacific tuna.
Dude's catching one fish.
And they're saying like we can't make enough money to support. Like, well, no kidding. You're fishing for fish with a rod and a reel. You're not dropping a pot.
Well, and the tuna and Wicked Tuna, to their credit, they're getting bluefins up by like Cape Cod and stuff. So they're fetching. They fetch $15,000-$16,000 for a fish, which I get. But just for the viewing experience, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know why I can watch the dudes working with crab pots and I'll still watch it. Because watching a dude bring up one fish, I'm kind of like, eh.
Were the seas in Hawaii dangerous?
They were actually pretty rough.
Oh, really?
They were pretty rough.
Never mind.
I will say this. There was a couple instances where they were doing some rescue work last night. Did you see any of that where they were practicing a man?
They were, right. So we clearly were watching the same stuff.
And then there was the one captain who the boat was a little bit wanky and it went down.
Right.
I guarantee. Did you happen to walk over when you went to Chinooks to see the Memorial at Fisherman's Terminal?
I did not. So when they brought that up last night on the show, I didn't realize that's where that memorial is. Yeah. I didn't walk over.
That plaque's there.
Yeah. So it is kind of. I don't know. For me, it's just different. Like, if I'm going to watch a show about fishing, like, I've got to watch the guys going crabbing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the Hawaii one's kind of crazy, too. And it's also weird because it's like, like every business, not every business, but a lot of businesses, whatever, you're kind of gambling on stuff. But that one's really dicey because they're gambling like, hey, we'll provide you all this fish, but then they got to go out and catch it. Mm-hmm. So that's like the big thing. That's why they're trying to open up other fisheries and this and that. And listen, like, I get it. Like all the crap, like if you're a fisherman, you just want to go fish. But the problem is until the authorities got involved, like you would lose whole fisheries.
Oh,
like
right.
Yesterday we were talking about fish oil, and I want to say it's off the coast of Peru, somewhere in South America. Like they catch a bunch of basically like sardines, but a lot of them are just being crushed for fish oil stuff. But they're catching so many of them, they're like, hey, if we don't take a year off, all these fish are gonna be gone. Right. But then all the fishermen are like, I mean, this is a lot of issues. You run into a lot of things in this world, right? And they're like, fishermen are like, well, we need to have a living. It's like,
right.
So that's why you couldn't catch the red crab last year. It's like, well, there's not enough of them, so if you catch them, there won't be any more.
At one point in time, Sid came in here and with his crew, and of course he's home, so they've already been out.
Yeah.
And we gave him we had a brand new we had a men's room T-shirt out. We thought this was the greatest thing in the world. We had KISW hats, so when they came in, we just threw them all this stuff. And but then they're here for a while. Then they go back out to sea. Then they edit all that. So like it takes about 12 months to 14 months for the next season or whatever that. So we forget about this. I don't know if you guys remember this. About a year and a half goes by. 18 months goes by. And I'm watching the show. And one of the guys got a men's room T-shirt on.
Nice.
And then all of a sudden we started getting all those emails. You were like, guys, you guys see that, man? They're all wearing your stuff. Like, you just forget because so much time had gone by, and there they are, wearing KISW hats and men's room T-shirts. It's like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's weird. Is anybody that, if you live in this, I just know there's certain bars in Fremont I know you can go into at different times of the day.
Yeah.
And you're going to run into some of those guys. But it's also weird as it's like, well, they're just there drinking. So you're not going to bug them. But even for me, like, I've definitely gone to the bathroom in one place and, like, came in from outside. Like, you walk by and it's just, you hear that voice of one of the captains. Right, it's hard not to be like, oh, there they are.
And those guys are also on TV. So when the Buckaroo Tavern existed, every single they were all there. They just weren't on TV yet. Nobody was. Even if you weren't, you know what I mean? Even if you were not going to be one of the boats to be televised in the future, everybody was in that. Right. Everybody was in that tavern with cash because they all came home with cash. So like anything else, you're young, you're pretty jacked up, you got some adrenaline going. You walk into that bar and you're like, this place is hopping. Oh, yeah. There's a line to the men's room, if you know what I mean.
I mean, look, I had a buddy that did it for years, and he was the same way. Like, he would come home, him and his girl would go to, like, Europe for 2 to 3 weeks and everything. And you'd ask him, and he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I know, I should save of it. But I burn it through. Of course. And then I'm back up there fishing for this, fishing for that. So it was just like, it's just, it's like anything else. It's just the routine they have. But yeah, I don't know. I can watch those crab pots all day, but I don't know, watching a guy fish, like, I can go fishing. Not that I'm going to catch anything. All right. Did you guys know the Marvel Cinematic Universe has never had an F word? Throw not DC, the Marvel Universe.
The Marvel Universe.
So
not a single cuss word.
Even with Deadpool, I guess that's never been dropped.
He's not part of the Marvel Universe.
Oh, I see.
That right. He does nothing but drop cuss words, man.
I still gotta watch that one.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So basically, like, a few characters have started to say it, but that doesn't count. Nobody said it. So Oscar Isaac, he tried to change it in Moon Knight. Basically, he was inspired by this video clip of an English kid gets surprise punched in the mouth and responds with, "Oh, F, I can't believe you've done this."
All right.
So he thought it'd be cool to pay homage to it and get it in there. Basically, he's like, I did a lot of takes where I actually said, "Oh, F," and I thought in Disney, because it's TV or whatever, that you'll get one F-bomb. But no. They were like, no. So nobody has still ever dropped an F-bomb in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which...
I don't know. I think Groot did.
Well, you wouldn't know, right? Because all he says is Groot.
But at one point, I don't know what's going on, but he has reverted back to like his teen years or whatever the hell, right?
Right.
But he says, I am Groot, but the response, remember in the cockpit's like, hey, man, watch your mouth. You know what I mean?
And Sam Jackson got close. At the end of, I think, Infinity War, when everybody was disappearing, Samuel Jackson was one of those that was disappearing, and he got about halfway through his trademark phrase, and then his mouth was gone.
Yeah, I mean, right. That's what they're saying. Like, look, characters in this universe have gotten close, but nobody's actually said.
Good point, man. Actually, me and my kid are watching Moon Knight. He loves it.
Well, in the Marvel universe, I'm thinking most of that stuff is PG-13 at best.
Yeah, I think it's right around that. So, there's a lot of violence, but there's no sex, there's no cussing.
Right. That's like, right, because even some of them, like they touch on more adult topics, right?
Like, about humanity and mortality, but right, never sex.
No.
You know what I mean? They really don't. Like, obviously this person likes this person, but it's even stated like they like each other. Now they're, he gonna get all up in that booty.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a superhero thing, too, I like.
What's
like,
that?
You know, like if you have a show where there's like good guys and bad guys, like they got to hook up with a chick here or there, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like superheroes, it's like something's happened, a building's been destroyed, you're walking through in your cape and you just cradle her and she looks at you, you look at her, you kiss her. But there's no actual, like, you're not getting past that.
Oh, no, dude, look.
That shows eternal love. If a man in a cape looks at a superhero...
man in a cape.
Just cradles your head and stares into your eyes.
I think superheroes, they just don't tell people. I think they're getting down and dirty, man.
Oh, they are.
Superman's slaying it, but,
he's a man of steel.
Damn right. It has nothing to do with the strength.
I think he's a voyeur.
You think he just...
He can make himself invisible, can he?
Stealing a peek.
Or see through walls?
He can see through stuff, yeah.
Which one now?
Superman.
No, he can't make himself invisible, but yeah, he's got x-ray vision.
He can see through walls?
Yeah.
Voyeur.
You're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
I'm Superman.
Nice to meet you. You're pregnant.
Right.
It's
and somewhere there's some lady, like, with her hair and, I don't know, and curlers and stuff, smoking a 100th cigarette, being like, he does move at the speed of light.
Talking smack on him. Man is steal my ass.
Clark Kent. More like the worst person in Kent.
More like Clark Kent.
Right?
Call him Blooper Man.
Can't get me there.
Can't find a G-spot, but he can see through walls.
And his cape's sticky. All right, listen.
I can't walk now.
Batman. We know Batman's a giver.
Oh, hell yeah.
They took that out of the show. All right, let's see some sports stuff for you.
There's a lot of sports stuff.
There is a lot of sports. I would say most importantly, though, your Seattle Sounders FC, they are in the Champion League, the CONCACAF Champions League final. So the first leg of it is tonight. That's going to be 7:30 Fox Sports. They're down in Mexico City taking on Pumas. The main thing you have to keep in mind is that no MLS club has ever won this competition. So total goals score count, but away goals, either way, you want the Sounders, number one, you'd like them to win tonight, but you also want them to go down there and score some goals.
Yeah.
The return leg will be next week, Wednesday night. You see Marchand putting out videos. Like, it's a big effing deal. It's kind of the thing going around. But, like, it's going to be massive. Next week has a potential of just a crazy night in that stadium. But they got to take care of some business tonight. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home, do laundry, and watch this game, and let's go Sounders.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's men's room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Turns out that Egypt Air flight that crashed in 2016 went down because of a nicotine fit. To Iowa, in a courtroom where the Easter Bunny, Mickey Mouse, and Donald Duck all say, we must acquit. Woman stranded in forest for 6 days, forced to eat yogurt to survive. Dollar Tree employee quits because her boyfriend couldn't stand beside her 9 to 5. And a town in Japan sent all of its COVID money to one guy who should be out of town by now. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
Our top story, we go to New Jersey, where someone spotted an exotic bird in the wild. While walking about the town, a man spotted a beautiful blue parrot in a nearby wooded area. Thinking that it was someone's pet that had gotten loose, he sent a photo to authorities, who then dispatched a crew to safely capture it and bring it home. The crew got to the scene, and luckily the bird hadn't left. They got just close enough to net the animal when the approaching officer said, "It's fake." They recovered the ceramic animal and now uses it as a decoration in their department.
I like they sent a crew to rescue a bird.
Right. Well, you know what? Good on the person that's like, you know what? This thing obviously doesn't live here normally. This has got to be someone's pet that got loose. And then they called somebody. Rather than approach it and likely scare it off, they call somebody like, hey, let's see if we can get somebody to capture this thing. This call's gonna come in that this parrot is lost.
Yeah.
And nope, it's fake.
He's also got a gnome and 2 deer in his front yard.
In other news, over to Japan, where a small town has a relief fund issue. Like a lot of places around the globe, the small town issued several COVID-19 relief payments to households in the area. But of the 463 that applied, 462 of them never actually received their payment because the town accidentally sent all the payments to a single bank account.
Nice.
When they tracked down where the money had gone, they approached the recipient, who told them that he was no longer able to return the money as it had already been moved to a different account and dispersed in a very cryptic answer to authorities. Like he said, I'll admit what I've done wrong. I will pay for my mistake. I can't give you the money, though.
Right.
So
that's what I tell him.
Yeah. Another round of funds were sent out, and an investigation is underway to recover the previous ones. It sounds like he has intention to pay money back, but I don't think he has the money that they're looking for.
Right.
So that tells me that he just invested it into a handful of things and is kind of hoping that money comes back.
Hell yeah.
So, way to go. After an investigation, the cause of an Egyptian air crash that sadly killed 66 people has been revealed, and it's enough to raise an eyebrow. The crash occurred on a flight from Paris, and it was determined to have been caused by a fire that started when a leaking oxygen mask ignited in the cockpit due to the pilot smoking a cigarette.
That is unbelievable.
Like that warning that you get at the beginning of every flight.
You guys can, but I'm choking them down up here.
But But if the oxygen hadn't been leaking, they would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and from what I read, it sounds like they smoked in the cockpit all the time.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Right, because it was like, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh yeah, like now it's like no smoking in the cockpit.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Because it's oxygen. You would have no idea that's leaking in there.
Right.
That's a good point.
I would think that would just stink. You know, at some point, that smell of cigarette is going to start leaking out into the rest of the plane, and somebody's going to be like, I know someone's smoking on there.
What are you going to do with the pilot? Like, yeah, I nailed it.
That's a very good point, too.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, at some point, somebody's going to knock on that door. Hey, you want to help me out here, man? I'm jonesing.
Has anybody ever been on a flight where somebody actually lit up a cig?
No.
Not since they banned it. I mean, when I was a real young kid, they could still smoke on planes. Right, so they still the ashtray, and you just didn't think about it because when I was a kid, people could smoke anywhere.
Right.
If you went to a restaurant, there was the non-smoking section, and that was like 4 tables.
Oh,
and the big section was for smokers. I mean, you would have to go in and specifically. I mean, my dad smoked at the time, so it didn't matter to me. But yeah,
right.
They had a non-smoking section. You always looked at them kind of weird.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but only like 10 years ago, I was on a flight, and this when like vaporizing just started coming out.
Oh yeah.
And like I remember seeing people just sit on the plane and they would just hit the vape pen or in the airport, and everyone's like, "Oh no, it's vapor, it's cool."
Right.
Times have changed.
Why is that one a problem still? Like, I get it. Maybe you don't like the smell of the berry, and maybe it wigs you out thinking that you're inhaling somebody else's breath at that point. But
I mean, I can fathom on a plane not allowing it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Because if you smoked a vape pen right now, it'd be gone in a second. Whereas if you took one hit off a cigarette, it'd be like, Jesus, man.
Right,
Exactly.
Everyone knows.
There's a Dollar Tree manager in Indiana that's out of a job thanks to the contents of his Help Wanted sign. A picture of the sign was shared to Reddit, and it starts off by saying that he apologizes for needing to close again as his 2 Gen Z cashiers had just quit, citing that he told them that their boyfriends couldn't stand by them all shift. That might have been fine, but he then continued by telling people not to hire Gen Z employees as they don't know what work means, and finishes by saying help wanted, baby boomers only. This was met with severe outrage on Reddit, and the manager has been removed from his position.
I bet he has.
How does that go there for you, buddy? And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow again for Big Dummy, and Head Chef is back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes. In the meantime, more Men's Room up next with the Men's Room Happy Hour exclusively on the Odyssey app.
Yes, indeed. In the meantime, we'll be all about this bitch for about 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.